What's up, all you ballers, scientists, and scholars? Let's kiss the boots of these dudes wearing lab coats with white collars. What what they say is true. We don't live on a flat plane, regardless of what the motherfucking Alf says. He's less than stable, completely insane. And so is tonight's guest. Allow me to introduce David Weiss. The guy says we live in the Arctic basin surrounded by ice. There's a firmament dome up above. The government lies to us royally. I'm so glad we're gonna record this. Electromagnetism exists. Gravity doesn't. It's buoyancy. Isn't it a joy to finally see the truth? They invented a cam that can zoom for miles. There's your proof. Satellites are balloons. So let's eat shrooms and hit a bar. There's a hole in the Georgia guide stones that's perfectly in line with the North Star. The powers that be want you to believe we evolved from pond scum and microbes, but Dave will gift you 2 Bitcoins if you can drum up enough evidence to prove the globe. My guest on tonight's live stream is Flat Earth Dave Weiss, a Connecticut Yankee who's tired of having his chain yanked by the cabal of scum who run this earth. He's made it his mission to do every single person's podcast and red pill their audience. Let's see how he fares with us. Welcome to episode 189 of Bobby Pickles podcast, baby. Galileo did nothing wrong.
Thanks for having me. And you're already a flat earther, man.
What are you talking about?
You are a flat earther. Come on.
No, I just do my research, man. I totally get encompassed by the research. So I'm ready to go. And I've seen a million of your interviews. I know the spiel. I know the PowerPoint presentation a little bit, but this guy, this is my buddy. We're part of a gang, a fraternity, whatever have you. And he is the motherfucking Alf. He completely is not like a normal person whatsoever. He thinks all of these crazy conspiracy theory things are correct.
Some are.
He's more of a conspiracy theorist than basically most of my friends.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have to interrupt here, Alf.
Yes.
Alf, you flat earthers are intense researchers. They're really awake, but they get triggered very easy. And you just flipped the 666 sign when you said hello. Can you please tell people you were just saying hello?
I was just saying okay.
It's not a 666 sign.
I agree. Okay. I love the okay symbol, and I love the word retarded. Okay, I'm bringing them both back. Right?
Yes.
Everybody,
correct.
relax.
Yes.
Oh my God, are you? Now, Flat Earth Dave, I don't want to ruin the whole show by getting into politics right away or religion or whatever, but it seems to me like you're like maybe a Trumper. Who do you think that would be more inclined to adopting or thinking or even considering the flat Earth model? Would it be Trump or Biden? Who do you think?
Well, that's a horrible frigging question. I don't vote. Biden can't think of anything. Trump at least has a brain. What his agenda is, how he's compromised,
correct.
Who the frig knows? But, Biden, the most voted for president ever, the guy can't get 20 people together for a rally.
And excuse me, if I could intervene, he just recently said sometimes he doesn't even believe that he's the president.
What?
Correct. It just came out today. Yes.
So,
oh my God.
I don't want to get into the politics stuff. I know how it is, man. You got to tread lightly. But I would just think that if given the 2 choices, I think that the person that would be more open would be Trump. I consider Trump. I think he's more of a spiritual person or more of in line with God. And from your research, I've gathered that, it's this flat Earth model kind of backs up the Bible more than anything else, right? Than the regular heliocentric model.
Yeah. There's 200 verses in the Bible that support flat Earth. They talk about a flat, immovable Earth. The only time in the Bible it says anything that a baller might jump upon is in Isaiah. It says the circle of the Earth. Well, coins are circles, pizzas are circles, my table's a circle, but they're not spheres. Correct. And the Earth is, in my opinion, a freaking circle. We live on an extended plane. And we are a pond, a fairly circular pond within that plane. Maybe Antarctica is all ice. Maybe there's rings around us with other worlds and other suns. Maybe there's other puddles beyond our puddle. Okay. But we don't know. We just know what's here. We know it's flat. Here's an old map from Japan that shows what, like 30 some odd continents beyond
David,
Antarctica.
If I could interject, how would they know? And doesn't that, if you see the middle map that shows South America, North America, Europe, how would they know that at that time without having technology to see it from the top? And, beyond that, anything else that you see there, how is
the
that
technology
possible?
that they had in the past?
It looks like the UN map, by the way. Also,
we're told
that's the other thing.
We're told that we're at the civilization is getting smarter and smarter and smarter. That's untrue. We are literally almost entering idiocracy. In the 1800s, they had airships bigger than aircraft carriers. They had buildings that we couldn't build today, and they supposedly built them with horses and buggies. I don't know if you guys have looked into the mud floods, but you got to look into the mud floods.
The Tartarian Empire. Yeah,
let's do this. Let's give a. We can't just jump right into it. I know I've done a lot of research, so it's easy just to jump right into the inside baseball kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But for the people that our audience, because I know that Dave, what your main thing is this true? Is this basically what you do? Do you just jump on to people's podcasts and you're trying to red pill all their different audiences? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that your mission?
So for the last, I don't know, year, I've been jumping on almost go on any show. I'd rather talk to a couple of hundred people that think flat earth is stupid than 10,000 flat earthers, because the flat earthers already know. My job that I've adopted on my own, no one's told me what to do, is to help other people see. I've been waking up big audiences. I woke up Owen Benjamin, his entire audience. They're all flat earthers. I love Owen. Now.
The big bear.
I woke him up. I woke up Sean from SGT Report. I woke up Mel Fabregas from Veritas Radio. Brian from High Impact Flicks. Right. David Rodriguez, who has a huge audience, and he's just coming over. He's having a hard time with it, but he gets it. Gun to his head, 3 seconds, flat or globe. He's going to say flat. So
correct.
All right.
And it matters. It matters more than you can believe.
What started you on this journey? Are you independently wealthy, living in Greenwich, Connecticut?
Tell me your background, Dave. Yeah.
I live on the poor side of Greenwich. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I live on the poor side of Greenwich.
Come on.
There is no poor side.
Riverside, man. Come on. I started my own company after working in corporate America for a while, and I was doing extremely well. And I walked away from it all to get my ass beat up by ballers telling me that I'm an idiot, and losing friends, but it's all right, because the truth matters. Truth matters. So, I walked away. I created an app that helps people get by the YouTube algorithm, and it's really cool. It shows you how the flat earth works. And, enough people were buying it where I could cover my bills. I said, okay, I'm walking away from this much money and I'm making this much money. Well, my bills are only that much. So it's all good.
And Dave, have you looked, does your app match up to the Enochian calendar? There's a lot of people that follow the Book of Enoch. There's like a there's a calendar that used to run
13 moons.
Correct.
Yeah. So
correct.
It gives us time based on our calendar, but it really is, they've hijacked our calendar, and there was 13 months of 28 days, but then they changed it to 12 months of random days. But check this out. You know how the old I think it was the Mayans or one of the ancient civilizations, they said, oh, the earth is on the back of a turtle, which is on the back of a, hippopotamus or whatever. Look at a turtle shell. It's got 13 different tiles,
correct,
and 28 smaller tiles around it. Okay. It's tied into what the earth is. There's something special about turtles.
No need for leap years, sir.
Yeah.
So all right, so so how should we do this though? Because of the fact that I went and I did all this research. Usually you like going after people that are like kind of blind, that have not listened to you, or like just totally say this is, they're committed to what they learned in school. They're committed to the science class. The Pythagorean theorem, the stakes in the ground. We learned back in the day that
That guy never existed.
That guy never existed. Okay. But this is what we learned. So let me play devil's advocate, pretend that I'm ignorant, even though I have watched a lot of your stuff. But yeah, so let's take it back. So if I was saying, listen, I believe in the round model, you guys are quacks. What about the Pythagorean theorem? What about that guy back in Greece or whatever, or wherever it was?
Aristophanes.
Egypt,
You're talking about Aristophanes.
That guy.
The Carl Sagan in Cosmos convinced us of this story. He had two towers. He said, the sun rays come in parallel, because everybody knows that. Well, first, how does everyone know that when no one in history has ever seen sun rays come in at straight? They always come in crepuscular. They always spread out. Whether it's refraction or a close sun, doesn't matter. They're not coming in parallel. So how the hell would Aristophanes assume a distant sun and parallel rays? So Carl Sagan had these two little towers on a flat plane, and then he had the rays coming in parallel. He said the only way to make them different is to bend it, so they're like this. And he said so Aristophanes figured that out. He was here in Said. His buddy was 500 miles away. His buddy measured the shadow at the same time. They did some perfectly good algebra or geometry, and he figured out the size of the Earth within 2%. Oh, that's so cool. He's the most famous, mathematician of all times. Never mentioned into a book until the mid-1990s. The mid-1900s, right? Never mentioned into a book. He is the Michael Jordan of basketball, and he was never mentioned in any book.
Okay? And then instantly, I think, did we have cell phones back then?
Oh, no, they had tin cans and long strings. They talked.
Yeah, how did they communicate with each other at the same time?
How did they communicate with each other to figure this out?
It gets even worse than that. So first, on a flat Earth with a small local sun, here he is. Here's his buddy. Same angles, same math, and you can figure out the sphericity of this flat plane. We don't live in a math equation. All of everything, you put one bad piece of information in the equation, the entire thing's nonsense. Like, hey, Bobby, you got $1 million in the bank. I'm going to double it for 3 days. Tomorrow you have 2 million. The next day you have 4 million. The next day you have 8 million. Therefore, you have $8 million in the bank. What's wrong with that equation?
You don't have it in there.
I assumed that you had $1 million.
You assumed it, correct?
Right. That's what NASA does. They assume, and then they use those assumptions to base calculations, and they come up with something, and then they use that for another calculation, and it's all bullshit. It's all complete and total bullshit.
I mean, when Einstein sits there and he thinks up the theory of relativity or whatever, what is he doing? He's just doing mushrooms or something like that, or like
Einstein is a moron.
Yeah,
Einstein is not a genius. He was put in there to bring in relativity to hide the ether because everyone's going to figure out what this place was.
I believe he married his underage cousin.
He married his cousin. True.
Yeah, that, and they all have something in common. All of these elites, it looks like.
Well,
like our president, the way.
The whole inbreeding thing is a whole nother rabbit hole. And, you could look into that. I got a playlist called, I forget what it's called, but it's all about that. There's some interesting things. So I'm not going to lay judgment on how these royal families keep their bloodlines pure.
You bring up this an interesting topic, though, talking about, algorithms and then YouTube. And, I'm a YouTuber and I've been silenced. I've been kicked off social media. It's hard to drive people to YouTube sometimes because of that, Right. So you created an app. You thought so outside the box where you can just go on this app. You can go to the different topics that you want and then click on the topic. And then you have a whole playlist right there. Yeah. All of the different, if you haven't, like my cousin, he came into the shop today. He stopped by the shop and I was telling him how I was going to do the podcast today, and, started playing some David Weiss videos and everybody has the same reaction, right? It's just like,
correct.
Well, 2 Bitcoins. Come on, people. That's it's $70,000 today. Everyone that laughs at it, they laugh at it. They go,
they're asleep.
But then they can't come up with one proof of the globe. People that believe in the globe don't know what it is. Like we have a Witsit Gets It is going on an American World Tour. He's a flat earther, kind of like me, younger guy. And he goes around and he gets his microphone. He's out on the boardwalk in Atlantic City yesterday, and he's just spewing information. And he goes, "Here, I got $100 for somebody if you can answer 3 questions, simple questions about the globe." that you're laughing at, and I'll even tell you the answer to the first one. Okay. And the first question is, how many times does the Earth spin in a day?
Oh my!
You guys know
God.
the answer?
Yeah, once.
Oh wait. I want Bobby to answer it. Bobby,
Once.
how far away is the sun?
I'm not gonna say anything. There's a formula that
285,000 miles. Oh, wait. Million?
93 million miles
93
away.
million miles.
Yeah, so
but
these
bring up the formula.
That was the moon. How far is the moon?
238,000.
230,000.
Bring up that formula that they exist that just disproves their numbers automatically.
Right. Well, there's everything disproves the globe. Everything.
Well, the light,
but the thing
that
is,
formula
the people that defend the globe don't even know it. And then what they think the flat earth is ridiculous. Hey, while I got the app up, let me just quickly show it. Right now, we're having our summer because the sun is in here over the Tropic of Cancer.
Correct. Cancer.
Right? So it goes over Miami. That's why it's so friggin' hot in Miami now. Because
in August,
the sun is high over your head.
Correct.
Right? And Australia is having their winter, but 6 months later, the sun moves out to the Tropic of Capricorn.
Correct.
And Australia has their summer because it's high over their head. We have our winter because it's farther away from us. Simple. Earth is flat. It's not a globe. Seasons don't work on a globe. But as you were saying, here's the challenge for people for the 2 Bitcoins, and I'll close the app out.
Why don't seasons work on a globe, though?
How do I know they don't?
Yeah, why don't they, though?
Yeah, I'll explain that in a second.
Oh, my God.
So every day there's a featured video here. Watch it every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you still think the Earth is a globe, send it to me, info@theflatearthpodcast.com, and you win 2 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit that question mark, and up comes playlists of all the questions you're going to ask. What about eclipses? By the way, there's a big eclipse tomorrow morning. What about seasons? If you hit what about eclipses? Up comes a playlist. I sent you that,
Bobby.
Up comes a playlist of videos that you will not find on YouTube. They're there, but you won't find them when you're looking for eclipse videos.
Yeah. Why won't you find them?
Because Google doesn't want you knowing the truth. The algorithm hides the good stuff and feeds you the garbage. They have resorted to the turd in the punch bowl method, and there's so much garbage on YouTube. But again,
look what they did with Steven Crowder. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Bottom right on this page, mud flood information. We got the curve calculator in there. We've got the interviews where this will be up there on the top row. All sorts of stuff. Flat Earth books. This one, a globe killer. 16 emergency landings that only work on a flat Earth, and they destroy the globe every time. Tons of information. Tons of things on the app. Like here are the winds above. I'll put it up 40,000 feet. These are the winds above the flat Earth. You see those pink and white, the red winds? Those are outrunning the spin of the Earth. The Earth is spinning to the east at 1,000 miles an hour
per hour. Are you
and
kidding
those
me?
are outrunning the spin of the Earth. Don't you think the upper level winds would lag behind the spin, kind of like in a blender? Would lag behind. But no,
Dave, what would that do with the rockets at that altitude?
Yeah, airplanes fly in those winds, and that's how they go from Santiago to Australia in a reasonable amount of time.
And really weird that they don't have to adjust for the curvature because they don't have to every mile or what is it?
Right.
Every minute or so they have to adjust for the curvature.
Yeah, well, traveling at 500 miles an hour, after an hour, you'd be 30 miles higher if you didn't nose down. So 30 miles over an hour is about a mile every 2 minutes. You'd have to nose down. You notice when the pilot starts descending at the slowest rate, you wake up, you're like, whoa, we're going down. Okay, you know your body notices that. Just here, I'm going to jump out of the app, but Tropic of Capricorn is the southern summer because the sun is over them. Tropic of Cancer is our summer. So now I'm going to jump out and we're going to talk about how seasons are impossible on a ball. So we're taught. Hold on. I got to get my props up and I lost my son, whatever. So here's the Earth. We're taught that the Earth is tilted. So the sun is over here. And when America is tilted, the northern half is tilted, we get more direct sun rays. So it's more intense. Right, Bobby? That's the understanding that you have.
I remember this. This.
And then when you're tilted away, it spreads over a wider area. Okay. Because it's tilted away at 23.4 degrees, which the inverse of that is 66.6. They love their numbers.
That's funny.
Yeah. So during the northern summer, would you think that we're closer to the sun or farther away from the sun?
Aren't we farther away?
During the summer, we're farther away. During the winter, we're closer.
You thought, you're supposed to be.
It's the opposite.
You would think it, yeah.
So and
How is that
it's the
possible?
invert. In the summer, it's closer to the sun, and the winter, it's farther away, just like you think it would be. But here's the thing: when the sun is rising, when you say you're right here on the top of the ball, and the sun is just coming up behind the ball, and you can see the sun. That's the most severe angle ever. That's more than the 23.4 degrees. That's an 89-degree tilt.
You're falling backwards.
Forget about that. You're actually going forward. Wait, you're going. How the heck does that even work? If the sun is setting, you go whatever. So that's not even the point. I got to think about that. This stuff bends my mind when you think about it. That's how they get away with it, because people don't know how to think. So in the summer, when I see the sun rising over Long Island Sound, I can feel the heat on my face at the most severe angle ever. And then in December here, when the sun is at solar noon at the highest point for the day, a much more direct angle and 3.5 million miles closer than it was in June, I could look up at the sun and not even feel the heat on my face.
Correct.
All right. Where did you first find out about flat Earth? What was the first time that you found out about it?
I was doing a conspiracy podcast about all sorts of stuff, about the Connecticut event, the Boston event, the New York event, all this other stuff. And then people started sending me flat Earth stuff. Say, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, you're an idiot.
Okay,
then
so you're doing a podcast, but you were working also. Were you working in the city? Were you like a finance guy or something like that?
No, I was in the solar power business, and I worked for a corporate solar power company, and I did a podcast in New York City. We went in every other week and did 2 episodes. So there's 1 episode a week for 3 years.
And so now you set up like a home studio and stuff. Just do it right from there, right from the house all the time. Or do you still do it in the city?
I'm on the space station, dude.
Oh,
come on.
Come on, man.
I'm on the space station.
Now I saw you do it. I saw you doing this on another show. How do you do that? You do that with the with your
I turned
like
off
that?
the gravity, man. There's no gravity.
NASA loves
good,
the green screens.
It's pretty
man.
good,
Let me
bro.
tell
It's
you.
like some Michael Jackson
Bubbles.
moves.
Yeah, it's pretty.
What are you doing
pretty
there?
easy. I'm floating, dude.
Yeah,
He's floating. You should show him.
it's so
Dave,
crazy. Why do they
wires.
always have like wires? Why do they have?
Because
these
they're in
instances?
Hollywood. They're not in space. Okay. I mean, to believe in the space station, have you ever used an iPhone to track the space station? It's like, oh my God, we're going to have a Passover. And you could actually see it go over. You see this light from horizon to horizon, brighter than any star. Like, how is it reflecting sunlight to my eyes so fast, so bright and so consistently? What we're seeing is a re-outfitted B-2 bomber that has LED lights on the bottom. There's 5 of them, and they fake these passes so people go, oh yeah, there goes the International Space Station. This thing was built in space. This was built by two different countries that didn't even have the same type of connector, so they had to put an adapter, right, to be able to connect these things. This
metric system.
Bobby, if you know anything about construction, this was never tested on Earth. They never assembled it on Earth. They made the pieces and sent them to space. There's not a single photo or video of it being built.
I actually did a podcast. My last podcast I did was with this lady, Christine Quinn. She's running for Congress down here in Florida, and her dad worked on the space station. And when I saw another podcast when you were talking about this, about how they like, I guess they put it out to all these different
I'm still here. Good.
Didn't they have like all these different people all throughout the country working on parts for it or something, like all these defense contractors and different smaller businesses? And so everybody felt like they had a hand in it.
Well, they did that for the Apollo program for the rocket. And instead of putting it out to 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 different companies, they put it out to 100,000 different companies. Hey, you make this hinge, you make this piece of foam, you make this, you make that, you make this valve. And everyone's like, oh, my grandfather worked on the Apollo rockets. How dare you say the moon landing was fake? And that's because they have no idea. There's a university. I was on a show the other day and they reminded me of this. At the University of Arizona or somewhere, where they own a satellite that's in space. But whenever they want to access it, they have to get it through NASA. And then like 2 weeks later, NASA will give them what they asked for.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's because it's not in space. It's nonsense. I mean,
when I look back on the moon landings, that obviously really does look pretty fake. You know, I mean,
no, come on, this looks totally real. What are you talking about? Like right here, this guy with his hammering in the thing, he drops his hammer. He can't get it. He can't pick it up because of what? Because he's hanging from wires and he can't get enough momentum to reach down and get the friggin' hammer.
You see the reflection there,
right?
Boys. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
We'll allow it.
The whole moon landing thing, that's a big thing. Like Stanley Kubrick, they say might have had a hand in filming these.
Look at this thing. This is the lunar. This is the lander coming back to connect with the orbiter. Look at the thing. There's two grown men like you in there. Could you imagine that? Okay.
Oh my God.
And look at this crap. I mean, they're like, how would they fake that? This is a friggin' model. A 5-year-old could do this in a dark room. Okay. This is ridiculous.
You're not, I'm not trying. I'm not going to.
How dare you even ask me? I'm not trying to age you.
Not trying to, but are you a boomer by any chance, or?
I'm a boomer, yes.
Okay, well, man, I mean, I think that the boomers were the first generation to totally be brainwashed by screens. What was it like? What was it like? Yeah, what was it like being there and seeing that? You believed it.
We had all of the shows that we watched. Like I watched every episode of Gilligan's Island when they were new. Okay, and we watched Gilligan's Island. One of them, I just realized this the other day, was where. Did you watch Gilligan's Island?
Kind of.
Okay, well, I'm a little ahead of you. There's one where a storm washed, they're stranded on an island. A storm washed up a cable, an underground cable. Okay. And they opened it up and it was telephone wires and they were trying to make phone calls and they're trying to reach people and stuff. And then the next day, another storm took it out and they lost it. But that's how, people believe that we communicate overseas with satellites when in fact it's all done with undersea cables. So
really?
They're telling us, all the 99% of the communications are done with undersea cables. However, there's no cable from South America to Australia, which is really much closer on a globe because it can't. It's got to go all the way up and around because Santiago and Australia on a flat Earth are on opposite ends of the world pond, if you will.
Yes, we live in a world pond,
right?
According to you.
Here's the flight routes. You go up, over, and all the way down. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just cut across? And the answer is because the Earth is flat. You come all the way up, over. It's kind of a straight line.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense on that map.
It makes perfect sense on that map. Yeah. And then I was showing you the emergency landings book. There's a flight here from Taiwan to LA. Right about here, there was some medical emergency. They needed to land. They could have landed in Hawaii. They could have kept going, but instead they went all the way up to Alaska, thousands of miles out of the way. Why the heck would they do that? And the answer is because emergency, Taiwan. It's right there. I mean, not Taiwan, Alaska.
So right? Basically, listen, the internet comes around and now we have free flowing information, and information is, that's power. Knowledge is power. And so all these people are learning the truth. And what do you think is going to happen, man? Are we going to be able to take back our Earth? Well,
somehow? That's why I quit my job to do this, because if we ever get the opportunity to take it back, because right now it's been taken away, George Orwell is rolling over in his grave. How long can we keep it if we're spinning out of control, lost in space, have no idea where we are, who we are, what we are, or the power of our mind, right? The only control the government has over you, the only control is in your imagination. Because imagine if everyone woke up tomorrow and goes, government means nothing. Well, government would mean nothing, right?
Dave, would it have something to do that we're special, we're a creation, we're not just some kind of animals that
I think we're creatures.
Out of chance, we were created, which is impossible statistically. With
totally
numbers.
Impossible. I think with Pond Scum, and we created an eyeball that can see,
correct,
and create. No. And just think about all the things that we can do. It's ridiculous.
No,
right?
No.
How can an eyeball see color and distance and recognize faces? Like you could be walking down a crowded street, hundreds and hundreds of faces are coming at you, and way in the distance, you're like, oh. Dave, I know you. You see my face, and bam, your eye goes, hey, I see a face. Meanwhile, you're talking on the phone, you're looking at other things, boom, and you see a face over there.
That's special.
That is
special.
incredible. That is not random accidents, creating more. When shit has what do they call it? When you have a deformation or whatever, I'm losing the word.
A mutation.
It doesn't get better. It gets worse. Okay?
No, of course. It breaks down. It's devolution, not evolution.
Right.
And I told Bobby, just have an open mind, because it's like the same people that Bobby is a smart guy that he complains about are the same people that are telling him the history that we have. And I'm like, hey, 2 + 2 is 4, man. It's not 5 like they're trying to tell us. That's that simple. Critical thinking.
What's going on here?
Oh, yeah.
What is going on there?
I have no friggin' idea, but I don't like it. Okay.
There's something pagan.
And then that was also in a Simpsons episode, right?
It's from a Simpsons episode.
Was this one in The Simpsons? I don't know.
Yes, it was.
There's more truth in The Simpsons and Family Guy than there is in the news. That's for sure. That's how they control us. They steer us with the news, which is an acronym for North, East, West, South. They're steering us.
Mm-hmm.
They're controlling our minds. Here's how they get away with it.
They have to tell us, Dave.
Yeah, they always have to tell us. But here's how they get away with it. It's a spiritual war, and they're using, for lack of a better word, wizardry or magic with a K, to get these things done in the world. And people don't even believe that exists. Therefore, they don't even notice what they're doing. I mean, the symbology and the numerology that they use is insane. And mark my words, tomorrow is a massive, important eclipse that is happening at sunrise. It's actually starting before sunrise here in the Northeast.
Could you repeat that, Dave? What's happening tomorrow?
There's a solar eclipse happening.
Really? I did not know.
The elite love these events.
Symbolism.
They're powerful. Well, it's not just symbolism. They're energetic events. I can't even explain it, but after solar eclipses, major events happen. I wouldn't be surprised if a major event happens very soon. Okay.
Dude, what do you think is going on? So in the back room at UN, everybody knows that we're living on a flat Earth, and that you can't go to can't go to Antarctica and you can't go far. Do they know what's past that? Do they know? Do you think that they?
Admiral Byrd
flew out over Antarctica and discovered. He said there's more land bigger than the United States, filled with resources that no human has ever stepped foot upon. Right. And then all of a sudden they create the Antarctic Treaty. All the countries, while they're killing each other, decide, we must protect the penguins and the ice. Nobody can go there. All right.
Correct.
Right. And think about this. Wait, by the way, Antarctica in the summer, when it's tilted towards the sun and closer to the sun, has winters that are so freaking cold. There's no animals. It has summers that are so cold. There's still no animals. There's nothing there except a couple penguins, if that's even true.
They say the ice caps expand.
Antarctica would be
so much for global warming.
The Arctic, the North, would be the coldest, because 6 months later, it should have the same, but it's farther from the sun. Same angle, farther, it should be colder. It's not. People and animals and plants all live there. Okay? It only makes sense on a flat Earth. When if you really want to know, go into the app, hit the question mark, go to the What About Seasons. There's just a few videos in there. Watch those and you'll be like, holy crap, Earth is flat. Seasons make no sense. Seasons prove the Earth is flat.
Correct.
Man, what is going on with my I got like some dark entity trying to eat my head.
Yeah, Dave, I always say, so you got the green screen there, and you just
I do, but something's going on with my light.
You should talk about the Georgia Guidestones and that hole that always points towards the north, the Polaris. I
said it in the intro.
Yeah, you talked about it in the intro. I mean, just think about it.
I know, but
we're corkscrewing.
Never moves.
Right. How is that possible? We're corkscrewing through space, right? We're
millions of miles.
Wait, every year we're 4.4 billion with a B, billion miles farther than we were from where we were last year, and the stars never change.
The constellations are perfect.
Yeah, but check this out. Scientists say they can figure out the distance of stars because they'll see a star and then they use parallax. That's when one star, when you're moving, things line up differently.
Yes.
They say 6 months later, we'll look at it again. And then the parallax will make it line up with a different star. And then they can calculate the distances. Well, two problems with that. 6 months later, you're on the other side of the friggin' sun. How are you going to see the same stars? Now, people can say if this is the sun, they're looking that way at those stars. Okay, I'll give it to you. But here's the problem. If there's parallax 6 months, how come the stars haven't changed for hundreds and hundreds of millennia?
Ever.
How come the stars have never changed? The pyramids still line up. The pyramids have a whole Georgia Guidestones where it lines up a Polaris. Now they say every 40,000 years ago we had a different North Star. Well, so that shaft pointed towards a different star, and then for somewhere in most of that 40,000 years it pointed at nothing, and we just happened to live at the time where it's pointing at another star. Bullshit.
It sounds like bullshit. I mean,
it is bullshit. If it
Bobby,
sounds like bullshit, smells like bullshit, it's impossible. It's complete bullshit.
Are you did you ever any formal education as like a scientist?
If I went to higher education, I'd be as dumb as all of these people that they call scientists.
I have a degree and it's totally worthless.
It's worthless. I took 4 years of astronomy
and logic classes.
You took astronomy?
4 years of astronomy, and they let me take 4 years of astronomy. I had all of the stuff, and I was awesome at it. Bobby, I was the man. And one of the reasons is because the show Cosmos had just aired like while I was taking astronomy. So I was watching that, and the teacher was literally following it, like teaching what was in the. I was so good at it. All the girls came to my room. I tutored them.
So you were just like,
it was
Dave
good
is
to me.
sneaky.
I was an astronomy whore. Okay, I admit it. All right,
he's sneaky. He's sneaky. Look at him smiling.
But all of it was nonsense. It's all pseudoscience. I mean, and they told us whatever we do when we're in the observatory, don't point it at the moon. Like, what? Don't point it at the moon. It's the only thing I want to point it at, right? When we weren't pointing it at the girls' dormitory down the road,
that's not what she said.
Zooming in through the windows, we were pointing it at the moon, and we were looking for moon landing stuff, but we could never find it because you know why? Because it's not there. It's not even a place.
Did you go to college in the state of Connecticut?
I did.
Okay. How do you like living in Connecticut? How do you like being from Connecticut, man?
I can't wait to get out of the United States.
Were your people?
Come on, man. Join us in Florida. Come on.
It's either Florida or Belize. Okay.
Or Texas. How about Florida or Texas?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I live.
Come on, Dave.
I always say before I was a flat earther that I live in a bubble. I live in Fairfield County. You know where I live. All right. Yes. And then I go on vacation. I would fly out of that bubble and I go to Hawaii or I go to the Caribbean. Right. And I just didn't go anywhere else. I went to California and I skipped all the shit in the middle. So I live in a bubble. Well, guess what? We do live in a bubble. We live in a domed world. Right. Yeah. It's kind of a metaphor for my life.
We do live in little bubbles though.
Yeah.
Yep. Jumping in and out of different little bubbles.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the town I live in, there are a lot of sleeping zombies, and they're gonna have their asses handed to them in the near future, in my opinion.
Correct.
We're going through the Great Reset. It happens every 100 years. Okay, Great Reset's happening. 1920 was the Spanish flu. Everybody was wearing face muzzles. Everybody was getting this. And everybody died.
Dave, wasn't the Spanish flu caused by the vaccination of the soldiers that went really horribly wrong?
Real quick, 1820 cholera and 1720 the plague. So it seems like every 100 years they try to do this. But right now, I don't want to say too much, but just since we're on that topic for a little bit, these leaked emails by Dr. Fraudsey, I believe that is the New York Times did the FOIA request to get them. The New York Times is a CIA operation, right?
Correct.
So this is coming out because when this summer, when this winter, when this flu season hits this fall, everyone that got this is not going to react well, and they're going to call it a second variant. And then some scientists are going to go, it's a man-made thing, and they're going to think it's a variant, but it's a man-made thing that they had injected into them.
I mean, if you believe in the flat Earth, you're definitely not going to go get a vaccine.
Do you know about the ferrets, right?
Yeah, all the ferrets died in the trial.
They didn't die of the vaccine. They died when they were exposed to the
virus,
whatever you want to call it, to the illness, and then their bodies attacked themselves and they died. Okay,
it degenerates the circulatory system. That's what I heard.
And guess how many of them died?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Right. Wow. In 2 years, we're gonna have, but they're gonna blame. You know what I think? Dave?
Hold on. Dr. Fraudsey is the greatest man on earth. CDC, listen to what they have to say.
They're going after him now.
Yes. Go get your vaccination. It's very important. Okay.
Yeah,
they're going after him, Dave. Bobby, they're going after him. You know that, right?
Well, they're going after him because they
found out about the funding.
but that's more important. Go get your vaccination, everybody.
Oh yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah, never.
So, Dave, do you okay, so are you a God-fearing man?
I'm not God-fearing. I love God. I was actually no God. I was an atheist my entire life. I just religion. That's ridiculous. I'd be listening to a podcast. I'm like, these guys are awesome. They're
what religion did you grow up? Did you I
didn't really have. We were Jewish, but I never really went to temple or anything. I got bar mitzvah when I was 16, just because my father had gotten remarried to a very Jewish woman.
You read Torah?
He's not bar mitzvah, and so I did it just for her. It was just I didn't believe any of it, but I don't believe in religion now. I believe that there's a creator and that we all can have our relationship with the creator, and whatever name you want to give it, or however, you just have to,
the Father,
you just have to obey the rules. And the rules are simple. Don't break anyone's free will, and don't lose control of your soul.
And it was flat earth that brought
flat earth. Well, flat earth made me see it, because once you realize that the earth is flat, it's not the shape, it's that it's intelligently designed. Okay.
Yeah. Because
it's intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. And guess what? From that statement forward, it's your own personal journey. That's how I deal with it. Now,
means there's responsibility.
Flat earth is a Christian thing, right? No, there's a lot of Christians. You get 100 people together, there's going to be a lot of Christians in that group, no matter what group it could be. Underwater basket weavers, there's going to be Christians. And then they'll say underwater basket weaving is a Christian thing. No, it's not.
There's
ridiculous. Christians everywhere. But the point I was making is, you have your own relationship. You can figure it out. Once you understand that this is intelligently designed.
We're special.
That you're special. You're at the center of creation, that you have power. No one has power over you except in your imagination.
Correct.
Image a nation. Okay. The elite are using us to create the world that they probably don't have the ability to create anymore, because they don't have any empathy. They don't have any emotions. They've lost all of that. They've lost their soul, imagination, right? They've lost their ability to imagine. So they're controlling us to create the world that they want. If everybody thinks that we're all going to die and this is the end of it, well, then we're all going to die, and this is the end of it.
And living in fear constantly, Dave, and some kind of hedonistic lifestyle on top of that is ridiculous.
I used to be afraid, but now the only thing I'm afraid of is I get a knock at the door, guys with a cup of coffee going, "Hey, Dave, we're going to give you a beautiful house on an island where you can kite surf out of your own backyard if you just shut up." Well, that's what I'm afraid of, because I don't know how I can say no to that.
You might take it, Dave.
Oh my God.
And I'm with you, because you're admitting the truth.
I'm kind of sick of all of the NPCs. There's so many of them.
But Dave, how do you know that they're not going to put you on an island and then eliminate you?
Well, you know what? Because if they could eliminate us, they would just eliminate us now. They would do it.
It's happening. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. You know it's happening now.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, we're all doing it voluntarily, because we all have the information. Right now, what's going on is an intelligence test, and if you're not intelligent, you're not going to do well in the test. All right.
Yeah. No cheating there, Dave.
Yeah.
So do they run these scams on us all the time? Kind of like the housing market bubble in 2008. I knew instinctively somehow that just everybody was just doing that, and the value wasn't really going to go up like everybody thought it was. I think I'm a natural contrarian. I kind of can sniff it out when bullshit is happening. So I don't know, man. Were you kind of like that at all? Would you consider yourself
the markets
like that,
the stock market is completely manipulated. If you look at the trading volume between these companies, what they're doing is they're trading millions of shares back and forth in the same day, and then they count that as volume, right?
But do all these people know something that everybody else don't?
No, these traders, they don't know. Most of them don't know. It's a top down, the top of the pyramid. They know. There's people that work in NASA that thinks it's real, because
aren't they all actors? It's like Jim Cramer. He's trying to pump up a stock, and it's okay. But if you're trying to short a stock that the big boys don't want you to short, they cut you off. I mean. But it's okay for them to do exactly what people like us figured out. They stop us.
Correct.
You know what I'm talking about with Robin Hood? Okay.
Right. The whole Robin Hood thing. It's a rigged game, and we can sometimes put a little ripples in it, but they have control. I mean, it's ridiculous what they're doing right now. With money too. Money isn't real. Money is just in your imagination. But the thing is, you're lucky that everybody thinks it's worth something, so you can trade money for a sandwich. but that sandwich is going to cost $50 next year.
And it's
going
to
to
cost more every.
All right, let me say something here. My idiot parents moved us from Bridgeport, Connecticut, to this beautiful little beach town.
Well, that's not an idiot.
on
awesome.
on the west coast of Florida, called St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where I grew up, and I have seen many
Really nice.
many a sunset, So how do you explain that? How do you explain? I have seen this ball of fire going down. It's going around the curve of the earth. You guys are completely insane. I've just been joking around the whole time. Really, I've just been going along with it just for fun, just to see how completely sick you both are.
This was taken in Afghanistan, and a soldier filmed it, and it's just going away. It's not going down. It's clearly going away, and it's because when you're looking out over the water, there's moisture. There's a atmospheric deck of opacity, and here there was nothing. He's up high enough and clear enough where the sun is clearly just going away. And as Paul McCartney said, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. This is how the sun goes away. It's just going away, and these clouds look like they're lower and lower. I look over at New York City, the clouds are touching the horizon. Well, the sun just goes beyond that lower level, and then you can't see it anymore because it's going beyond it. Let me show you my flat earth kitchen.
Because it's going around in that
and don't forget, Dave, to show the pictures of the sun under the clouds.
Yeah, I'll show you that. So here's the sun. I'm filming it from a celestial point of view, and I'm just moving it along this level line. I've shown you that the line is level. This is what it could be mountains, or it could just be the atmospheric deck, the cloud deck, where it becomes opaque. So now I have another camera on the counter from a terrestrial point of view, watching the same motion. And look, if I showed you this first, I said, is this line level or is it tilted? You'd say it's tilted, right? It never goes below this atmospheric deck, but it sure looks like it's going below it from a terrestrial point of view. This line, I'm going to show you even a close-up. Now watch, Bobby, you got to watch.
Perfect.
Is this line level? Or is it going almost straight down? And you would say almost straight down. That's the path of the sun. Now I'm going to compare it to a real sunset. Real sunset, simulated sunset. You would think it's going to go behind the horizon here, but look, it's going behind. What's it going behind?
There it is.
That's the atmospheric deck of opacity. And if you look at that with your naked eye, your naked eyes, you wouldn't see this difference. This difference is too small to see. Only when
there was a way to get through that muck.
Only when you zoom in on it. Right. And it looks exactly the same. Yeah. Check this out. Is this sun setting over the water like you see in Florida? Sure. Looks like it is. But these clouds are getting compressed and it's just going beyond it. But when we zoom in with today's consumer optics, we can see it's not going down. It's just going away. Look how high up off the water it is. It's still the same height as it was over you. It's just farther away. Perspective brings everything down. And then it goes, this is not a real horizon.
That's Art 101, Dave. That's Art 101.
And it's just going beyond
and then it just disappears, right?
Well,
perspective.
Well, no, because with all this cloud deck here, it's gonna actually get blocked. It goes away like this.
Because
and
you're
it looks
pulling
like
back.
It's setting.
Didn't you say something about that you look right in the sun?
That you look right into the sun.
I've looked into.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh yeah, I sun gaze absolutely. And tomorrow morning,
you look right into
I'm
it.
going to stare at the solar eclipse without any sunglasses on.
Solar eclipse, correct?
Right? They tell us wear these dark glasses. Don't look at the sun. You'll go blind. If it was true that you went blind during a solar eclipse, there'd be tens of millions of people that went blind every year because there's people that don't even know there's a solar eclipse tomorrow. There's going to be fishermen out there that are looking at the sun and going, what the fuck is going on? Okay. They're not going to know. And nobody goes blind. But when you look at it, there's some serious information, some energy. I stared at the entire solar eclipse last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was. Mm-hmm. We watched the entire thing. And when I was done, I had better eyesight. My eyesight was improved. Right.
I am going to do that because
I'm not telling anyone to go look at the sun. You have to have, I know. You have to be used to sun gazing, but the eclipse tomorrow is going to be at sunrise, right? If you ever watch the sunrise with your naked eyes, it's way more powerful than the eclipse, right? Mm-hmm. But there's information like the eclipse isn't going to be high in the sky. So
David Weiss goes blind.
Yeah. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
He already did it.
I've already done it. Right.
You do it tomorrow, Bobby.
So, Bobby, you mentioned one more thing. I want to show you what I filmed here. So when the sun is setting here in Connecticut, it's over the land. So this
So
usually happens.
which camera was it that came out that changed the game for all this stuff?
The P900 and P1000. This is my drone, and I'm looking west from Connecticut, and it's 30 degrees outside. It's below freezing. There's no humidity. There's no clouds, and the sun, it was going down, and then it stopped. If the Earth was spinning, it would keep on going. It sat here. This is sped up like 2,500%. Watch. It never goes down.
Dissipates.
It just goes into the atmospheric deck of opacity. But my friends were down at Greenwich Point, and they saw the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes earlier.
Wow.
It's all due to perspective.
So all of these things that you show, these different podcasters and stuff, when you're doing all these interviews, this is all material that you collected on your own.
Not all of it. Some of it's mine. Like, this is not mine. This was filmed in Bulgaria. Right? What the heck are we seeing here? Are you falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, or is that light in the sky just moving away?
Well, a lot of it you do on your own, though, right?
Yeah, a lot of it I do.
Yeah, that's cool that you do that.
He participated in a lot of experiments.
That is science.
You asked me how I became a flat earther. I was forced to look into it. I was looking into it, and I saw all of these we can see too far distances. So I looked up the globe formula, and I said, all right, it said at 10 miles, there's 66 feet of curvature. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then I looked a little further and at these globe troll channels, and they're saying, no, because, at 10 miles, it's not 66 feet of curvature. It's you're here and the other person's there. So there's only 33 feet of curvature because you're halfway, because the object you're looking at is halfway down, which is ridiculous and stupid. And it's not true, but I'll give it to them. Okay. Right. So 10 miles is 33 feet of curvature. There's a buoy off of Greenwich that's 11 miles away. I sat down and it was a calm morning. I bought $1,000 worth of equipment, the P900.
Now, are you doing this from a balcony?
No, I'm sitting at the water's edge at low tide at Todd's Point. Okay. And I've on the water, the camera's maybe a foot or two over the water, right? As low as I can get it. And I zoomed in. Not only could I see the buoy, I can see the surface of the water for miles beyond the buoy.
You wouldn't be able to see that.
I can see the Whitestone Bridge. The Whitestone Bridge from Greenwich. I believe there should be like 400 feet of curvature or 360 feet, whatever it is, depending on where you're looking from.
8 inches per mile, right, Dave?
The towers on the Whitestone Bridge are 265 feet tall, I believe. So I shouldn't be able to see the tops of those towers. On a clear day, from the water's edge down as low as I can get, I can see the deck. I can see underneath the deck. I can see the footings of the bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
That's impossible. Impossible.
But it is real.
It's real. Yeah. For sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you get tired of talking about this stuff?
No, I love it.
You do?
I love it. Listen,
hey, Bobby,
I'm talking about what I like. I would like waking up people.
It.
I get tired of talking to flat earthers. I love talking to flat earthers, but I love talking to people that goes, you're dumb, but I'm going to have you on my show to make fun of you. That's the best because their heads explode.
But Dave, you know what I think is happening? I think this generation that's coming up is even so dumb.
They're so dumb.
They have no clue of perspective, or when you say these things, they're gonna look at you like you're a racist. They're gonna go, you're a racist. Like Bobby, that. I'm not lying.
Bobby, this is 40,000 pounds falling out of the sky. The guy that's filming it is in the space shuttle. He's going on his way to space. He's going over 17,000 miles an hour upwards, and he's somehow filming this thing falling out of the sky. Now watch here. A little handkerchief's going to blow by. Ready? In about 2 seconds. 1, 2. There it goes. So you can see that this thing's barely moving. It's just like,
what?
This is the external tank from the space shuttle. It's a helium blimp. Okay. That's what they're launching when you see the space shuttle go up. It's a blimp. It's a rocket assisted blimp. And this thing is falling and it's supposed to burn up and atomize before it even gets to the clouds, which are right there. Okay.
Okay. Tell me now also. So you said NASA is the largest
consumer and owner of helium companies.
Helium companies.
Well, they own all the big helium
Satellites
companies.
do not exist.
Right.
And they're all balloons.
They're all balloons. Every single one of them.
if satellites, Bobby, existed, how come every time when they're supposedly in space, we don't see one flying around? And supposedly,
I'll answer that.
according
They're
to
too
they
small
have
and too
millions
far.
of them. Yeah, okay.
They're too small and too far, but people think they're seeing satellites when they see these little lights go by. Those are luminaries. I couldn't tell you what they are. Maybe they're man-made craft that are going on up there, or maybe they're, they're like the wandering stars. There's just other things that they haven't told us are up there. Part
Correct.
of the projection of this world.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Like all the fallacies of logical reasoning. Whenever you're on like a podcast, he like if you say something, whatever, like you're battling him. He knows the
appeal to authority fallacy. I don't know them all. I've been trying to learn them.
See that? Look at that. Yeah. That's the appeal to authority fallacy.
Correct.
He's like a dictionary when it comes to that. It's great. It's great. I love that. Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
The best thing to do is to hit them with, oh, you're using a fallacy of logical reasoning, and this is the name of it. It's hard to remember the name of all those.
Yeah, you know what? I've actually forgotten a bunch of them. I got to write them down. And
give me some examples of some fallacies that podcasters use against you that you call out. Common fallacies that they use.
I'm not going to be able to pull up any of them under pressure like that. It's only when I hear them, I'm like, oh, that's the appeal to authority fallacy. That's the majority rules fallacy. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. I had them written down. I gotta set them to memory. If somebody wants to send me a list of all the fallacies, please do. info@theflatearthpodcast.com. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I would love to have that too. That would be great. Yeah. So, okay. So talk to me about there's so much. What have we not covered?
Well,
because think about it, if somebody's watching this right now, you're watching the podcast, you've never even thought about flat Earth. Okay. I mean, I got a question. What does this do now? Like if you do adopt this and then you have this come to Jesus moment, like Owen Benjamin or any of these other people, and now you're like, what the fuck? We actually live on a flat Earth. What does that mean for the rest of your life?
I'll tell you what it means. So one of the things that Crow 777 always says, Bobby, is, all the apparent motions that we're spinning, twirling, whirling, hurling through space. So go outside, sit down on the ground or just in a chair, whatever, and imagine that you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun and moving sideways at millions of miles per hour. And you're going to feel nauseous and sick, and you're not even going to be able to sit up straight. Then shake it off, get a drink of water, and then go out and say, okay, I'm sitting on the foundation of the universe. It does not move. All the luminaries in the sky are circling above me in perfect synchronicity, and your spirit will lift. Your mind will clear because it's aligning with your soul. Your soul knows the truth of this world. And yeah.
I thought, another one that really got me. I'm sorry.
One other thing on the soul.
Keep going. Yeah.
They want to steal your soul, and they try it with the soul lure system. They're literally trying to steal your God-given soul away from you with the soul lure system.
But Dave, you don't understand the flat Earth and what the heliocentric model projects, or I would say brainwash everyone. It's that we're animals.
Yeah.
And that does not make us special. So therefore, if you think you're an animal, you're going to act like an animal. And that's why we have the problems that we have in this world.
Right.
If everyone thought we were special and a creation from the creator, I think we'd have a different world.
What do you say we are, though? Do you think the animals have a soul too?
I think that everything here has a purpose. We're here to build things with our hands and our thumbs and to create a beautiful world and expand consciousness. Cows are here to eat grass and make soil. And, flowers are here, bees are here to pollinate the flowers. Everything has a purpose. And our purpose here is to expand the mind of the creator and build a beautiful world.
Right. The gravitron. Okay. So growing up, everybody, went on the gravitron. Maybe they called it different names, but I remember it as the gravitron. And you made a solid point, because I always thought of the gravitron like kind of proves that gravity does exist. But if you think about it,
you have to be on the outside of it.
Yeah, you got to be on the outside of it. If you're on the inside of this thing, right?
I've been on a gravitron, but
it's going to be throwing you off.
Yeah.
So
it's
all of the continents and all of the water should be at the equator by now, because the Earth is spinning. Everything should just go out to the equator.
Dave,
right?
didn't Mr. Neil Grayson or
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes, that clown. He said that the Earth is a pear.
Said the Earth is a pear.
Now.
He also said it bulges 14 miles high at the equator.
How is that possible when NASA shows us pictures of a
well, they're 14 miles high, compared to the whole side of the Earth, you might not even notice that, right? He says, if you took a topographical globe model and shrunk it down to the size of a cue ball, it would be the smoothest cue ball ever. Well, he's full of shit on that. But even if it doesn't matter, right? If it bulged 14 miles high and you're flying from the north to the south, at what point do you triple your altitude just to skim over that bulge? Okay. Or does gravity warp with it? Okay.
Do we have video of that bulge?
Yeah. What's the greatest viewing spot? Because it's a massive hump. Airplanes fly straight and level over an Earth plane.
You should be able to at least video looking down when you're at the very top of that bulge, right? Yeah. It's like,
you would have to go, planes fly about 5 miles high. You'd have to go 15 miles high just to skim over this thing. 15 miles high just to skim over it. Okay.
Okay. Well, what about pilots?
What about pilots? They all know. Most of them
know.
Most of them know. We had one that spoke to us and she was fired the next day. Okay. The pilots say they talk about it amongst themselves. There are some pilots that are just automaton robots that believe, the Earth is so big, and then NASA knows, and I just follow my thing and I land the plane. They don't know, but there's more and more pilots waking up all the time. We've interviewed a bunch of pilots anonymously. They know.
What about like the pilots who went up, for the moon? I got something. I was down here for the Challenger, man. We all came outside and watched the up when I was little baby, little bambino. And I remember specifically, we went inside, we prayed afterwards and stuff, and they had the smoke, whatever. It was a distant memory. I was only like 5 years old, but what do you say about that? Like, that was all BS.
6 of the 7 have been identified. We found 6
right there.
6 of the 7 have been identified. We found them. They have the same name, same birthday, and they claim to be the identical twins of their dead, deceased brother or sister, right? They have the same names. They sound the same. They look the same. They act the same.
What?
And none of them showed up at their sibling's funeral. Most of them work for universities. She's in Connecticut. She works at, she's a Yale law professor, I believe. And we have a video of her giving a lecture as a law professor. And we have a video of her doing a press conference as an astronaut. Same dimple, same smile, same hand motion, same words, same voice, same everything, because it's the same person.
How do you do that so fast? You pull you right on
because
the
I knew what you were going to say before you even said it. There's only a dozen dumb questions. Okay.
There is,
that's it. This guy, this is my favorite. He had a business, a company called something like Cows and Cheese or Flying Cows or whatever. And when you go to the website, there was an animation of a cow shooting up into the air with smoke coming out of its ass. And it did all of these loop-de-loops and left a trail that looked just like the friggin' Challenger. Right. So we found it. We started making videos. It started going viral. Bam. The website went away.
What would be the point of faking that thing, though?
To traumatize children, to kick the can down the road. They've been promising us since we were kids, we're going to have hotels in space. We're going to be on the moon. We're going to go to Mars. They need to keep kicking the can down the road. The reason they can't go back to the moon is because our cameras have gotten too good, right? They had black and white shit back then. NASA, for the moon landing, had all of the data supposedly coming to this one place, and it was being relayed to another place, and it was put up on a black and white low resolution screen, and the TVs had to film that low resolution screen, because that way there's no metadata, there's no way to go in there and adjust and look. It's all nonsense. I mean, look at this. Look
it's insane.
This. Look at this.
It's insane.
Right. And I'll show you another
Stanley
one.
Kubrick.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick was definitely involved. But there, if I could find it, there was the Japanese. Here it is. This is them filming the Earthrise. If I gave you $15 and sent you to an arts and crafts store, do you think you could recreate this without using Photoshop?
My son could do it right now with his eyes closed. Yeah.
Of course you could.
A lot better. Oh my.
Of course you could.
Bobby, look at that.
Bobby, look at this. This is presented as real.
That's a joke.
People don't even believe this is
real.
Okay.
The first thing that anybody says, the first dumb question is, what about the picture? The blue marble.
Oh, it's a CGI.
How could there not be one fucking picture of the Earth? How can you tell me that's true? David Weiss, how can you tell me that's true? That's not true.
NASA even says it's true. Here's the blue marble, and it's all Photoshop. They're lazy. They use the same clouds again and again and again.
Didn't they put a sex in one of those clouds?
Yeah, in the latest picture, Pluto. It has the word sex written in the clouds because they love their symbolism and their sex magic, and it's all nonsense. Look at the United States here, NASA. And look at it here. Do you see a problem? If you don't see a problem, you are the problem.
So how did they take that? How did they get that image?
This is a painting.
They just straight up painted it.
And
it says that on the internet somewhere. It says that they did this.
The guy that made the blue marble, he said he made it in Photoshop from strips of data. He hit Command Z a lot, and he added a specular highlight. He added the clouds.
Why don't you have some of these citations in your app?
We do. They're in there.
You do?
Yeah,
you do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're all in there.
They're all in there. I could find.
They're all in it. Just search Robert Simmons painted the moon. It'll come up. That one, for some reason, it's out there in so many places they can't get rid of it. But it'll all be gone soon. It'll all be gone soon.
Oh, you think so?
I think that there's something major is going to happen.
Dave, I think they dumbed down people so bad.
Yeah.
Like the Cardi B generation that has no bloody clue of what reality is.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Think about this.
Sad.
If you're the ruling families, you've been ruling the world for hundreds or thousands of years, and all of a sudden we're all getting pretty uppity. You know, the internet maybe got away from them a little bit, and they're like, everyone's about to figure it out. What are you going to do? Are you going to just give up control? Or are you going to
shut it all?
Are you going to shut it all down?
Big problem.
Right? Shut it down for 2 years. And we'll be back into the friggin' what we used to think was the Wild West. And the people left will not be caring about any of this. They will just be like trying to survive, grow food, and then a whole new civilization will happen. Okay. And it'll all be wiped out. And everything that people think they have that's online, it's all gone. The only thing that will survive for a part of the time is books, and anything beyond that has to be written in stone.
Well,
wait, but what? How are they going to do that? Okay.
So these people. Wait, do you know what they're doing today, right now in New York City?
It's a reset,
they're doing.
Bobby.
You know about Event 201, right?
Kind of.
So Event 201 was 3 or 4 months before this Rona thing hit.
Mm-hmm.
They did a full simulation of what would happen if a coronavirus came and spread out all over the world. They simulated the whole thing, including how we're going to have to shut down, people on social media, and
Bill Gates was involved.
Bill Gates,
he was there.
They did the entire run through of face masks, jabs,
everything.
They did the whole thing. They simulated it, and 3 months later, all of a sudden it happens. Okay. Today in New York City, well, first, what happened? We had the cyber attack on the pipeline, right? Now, so like, what the hell was that? And there was a cyber attack. Something else happened recently. Well, they're doing a thing called Cyber Polygon. I believe it's happening today, right into the eclipse, which is interesting. Okay, and it's about a cyber attack on the power grid worldwide. What would happen? They're doing what would happen if there's a cyber attack on the power grid.
Wow.
Get everyone scared and give more power to the government.
And Bobby, you're aware of all of the big events, like the New York one, that there was drills going on the day that it happened, right? When New York happened, there was over a dozen different drills of planes being hijacked and crashed into buildings, and some of those buildings were the trade towers.
That's what we're calling it when New York happened.
Mm-hmm.
When New York happened. I'm trying to just avoid YouTube from fucking shutting this shit down.
Yes.
Okay? There was dozens of drills going on. And what they do is they watch in real time. They're like, hey, no one's noticing. Take it live. Same thing in Connecticut. They were running a drill on the day that school thing happened, and nobody noticed, and they took it live. Boston, during the marathon, they were doing a test of a bomb going off at the finish line. Did you know that?
And how about the actors and how they hire actors for those days also?
How about down the road up Route 8? At that little thing that happened.
That's what I was talking about. The school in Connecticut, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at that. That school was shut since 2008. all of that stuff used to be on YouTube. You can find it, right? YouTube used to actually serve that. If you looked up one, they'll go, oh, did you see this one? Did you see this one? Then they realized, holy crap, there's too much truth on here, and they took it all down. If you want to find that stuff, it's at stoplookthink.com.
Oh yeah, I have.
Okay, but
stoplookthink.com.
who are the people that are they're up here, this cabal of people that are up here making all these decisions and stuff like that? Do you think that they were like the robber baron people, the people that amassed wealth?
The robber barons were their bitches.
Do you think so? You think so? Really?
Yeah. Oh, the Rockefellers had
were their bitches
on top of them. The royal family. This goes
the
like
Club of Rome, the Bilderberg Group, the United Nations, Council of Foreign Relations,
the Jesuits. I mean, it's all involved.
This is the entire power structure of the world. These are the banking families that run the world. They're under a lot of pressure. Truth. Are
you concerned that they're going to come after you?
No.
And
why?
Dave, how about
I don't believe if they were going to come after us, they would kill us already, but they can't. You have to give up your soul for them to take you. That's my belief. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to live in their bullshit system anymore. And we're going to do everything we can to wake up the world.
Amen.
They don't need to come after me. There's people doing a lot more than I'm doing. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's a lot. So they may not even care at this point because they're like, by the time people wake up, our plan is going to happen. If this whole thing, with the jab could be what we're thinking it could be, you know about the Deagle report?
No.
You don't know about the Deagle report.
What's this?
The Deagle report is a quasi government site that predicts world population. And
that said the United States is going to lose over 100 million.
So 327 million people. 327 million. I think it's like 330 something now. In 2019, and in 2025, it's going to go down to 100 million. Well, it's not saying they're dead. Maybe they all defect and go to other countries, but
I doubt that.
We're not sure what's going on.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Yeah. And so, just look back to 1920.
Georgia Guidestones.
Everybody was wearing face muzzles and everybody was getting this to protect, we must protect the war heroes
and more
that were
people
sick
died.
from being in foreign lands, or were they sick from all of the friggin' things that they got before they went over there?
That's the Spanish flu. They got the jab.
It's the same thing. And they said like 60 million people died back then. I think it was more. Okay. They're not telling us the truth. So here's the thing. All of this can stop if everyone would friggin' wake up. And the way to wake people up is like, I woke them up to what I called exposing the big three: New York, Boston, and Connecticut. And people just go right back to sleep. You wake them up to flat earth. They can't turn it off. And then all of a sudden they start seeing, once they realize, wow, I'm seeing where I am, who I am. I'm seeing all the deception. It all just goes away. So wake people up to flat earth. And the way to wake them up is with my app. Okay. Luckily, somehow I was me making an app that's insane, but I made literally the highest rated app in the App Store. Check it out. Read the reviews. You'll become a flat earther from there. Everyone that has the app, share it with your family and friends. Give it to strangers. Tell them about it. Show it to them. Make them buy it. Buy it for them. Whatever it is. And Dave, because if everyone did that for a friggin' month, the whole world would know and it would be over. If Dave, one influencer, hold on. If one influencer is listening to this, like Justin Bieber, tweet my app once and the whole world will wake up inside of a week. Okay.
There's a lot of dead and sleeping people. That's what I'm scared of. But, the thing is to say the truth and keep saying the truth. It's not like you're lying. No one's lying. Could you disprove it? Could you please disprove that, for example, with a P900, we're seeing things that we're not supposed to see. Basic 8-inch per mile, seeing things we're not supposed to. Correct.
8 inches per mile
squared. We're not supposed to be seeing things that we're seeing, and that's it. And the story. There's no explanation.
Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. The Earth is 70% water. How can the Earth be a sphere when you have 70% of flat water on an Earth? Look at the abyssal plain in the ocean. It's flat on the bottom. Submarines at the bottom of the ocean can use sonar that bounces off of anything that it hits. And it can see another submarine over 100 miles away. There should be a mountain over a mile tall in between them.
Correct.
Okay. If the Earth was a globe, it's not. It's flat.
And you think
on the top of the water, they can shoot a laser beam and hit another boat over 100 miles away. There should be a wall of water 6,000 feet high.
Railroads are constructed without flat Earth calculations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Without globe calculations.
Airplane. It's not called air globe.
Right.
Wow. And then you even say that like aliens are constructs of just they're just going to become.
They're talking a lot about them. My personal belief is Genesis chapter 6, fallen angels. You look at the old pagan religions; they all talk about the same thing: angels coming from the sky. I believe it's the Genesis 6 book of Enoch.
Is it just like the Tower of Babel in the Bible? We just we get smart enough, and
when you talk about aliens, you could say aliens or demons or angels or whatever. They're non-physical and they're coming from the heavens above. The Bible talks about stars falling. I believe that stars are souls.
Yeah, angels. They're supposedly angels.
So yeah, stars are angels and souls, whatever. That's one thing. Extraterrestrials. Where would they come from? They'd come from where there's more land, extra territory, extra terra. Yes. So this would be extra terra. If this is the inner space, we might call this the outer space. So maybe extraterrestrials do come from outer space across the Earth plane.
Why can't we get across the Antarctica?
Because when you get out to Antarctica, there's one, you're not allowed to, right? No one's allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. And if you do, they'll intercept you with warships, airplanes, whatever you're coming in. They will threaten to sink you. They'll turn you around. They'll send you home, and then you'll go to jail when you get there. Okay?
What?
Yeah, because the Antarctic Treaty, it happened. One guy got permission. He went there before he even got inside of Antarctica. 2 warships stopped him, turned him around, sent him home. And when he got home, he was put in jail. Okay, to set an example. So in the app under What About Antarctica, there's a video called Sorry, Antarctica's Closed. A lawyer put it together. He went through all of the bullshit to find out what it would take to go explore Antarctica. You can file a permit. It'll cost you somewhere between $200,000 and $2 million just to file the permits. It'll take a year before they get back to you and say, sorry, denied. And then they keep your money.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And then they keep your money just to dissuade you.
Yeah, no one's going to Antarctica. And you can't just go there. Even if they didn't stop you, compasses don't work. GPS doesn't work. Where are you going to get fuel? How are you going to navigate? Where are you going?
Right. So is there some discussion within your flat earther community to try to get like some kind of heavy duty plane or something like that to go across Antarctica? I mean, or something? Somebody's got to take.
Why would we try to go across Antarctica when we know that you can't go across Antarctica?
Because whatever the extra territory that might be.
Here's how you prove.
I'm talking about going over the ice wall
because I believe there's a dome out there. I don't know how to get through it. We don't have the equipment. If we had airships with some helium, which they tell us is a helium shortage, which is not true. There's an infinite amount of helium. We could then, we don't even need fuel because we have an airship and fans and solar panels. Here's how you prove the Earth is this is simple. We can end this fight in one day. Science can put it together, and it won't cost millions of dollars. This is Antarctica. They tell us it's 13,000 miles around. You go to Chile, you get 2 airplanes, you fly over here to one of the bases, you refuel, and you got a whole bunch of flat earthers, scientists, doctors, teachers, and you put them on an airplane. One of them goes this way counterclockwise, and everyone looks out the left window. We only fly about 1,000 feet in the air, right off the coast, and make sure you just follow the coastline around. Everyone verifies. And because you're low, you can see how fast the airplane's going. It's not, it's going, hey, I'm going about the regular speed of an airplane. You can tell, right? The other plane goes this way. Everybody looks out the right window. 9 hours later, 6,500 miles later, the 2 planes would meet over here, but it's not going to happen because it's not 13,000 miles around. The last person to try it was Captain Cook, and it took him over 3.5 years. He went over 60,000 miles. Okay. You got to remember the equator is only 25,000 miles around. So this should be less. It should be 13,000, but it's a bigger circle because the Earth is flat, 60,000 miles.
Yeah. Somebody needs to just go right over that.
Just go. Bobby. Yeah. Just go. Just go. You know what? I'm going to give
somebody must have.
If I give you $5 million right now, you couldn't do it. Even if they let you, you couldn't do it.
Yeah. But the powers that be did it somehow, right?
Well, they were out there. They had
Admiral
ships
Byrd.
and Admiral Byrds and refueling, and they inched their way across, and he flew out, and there was, I think they lost some planes. Some planes crashed into something. What could that be? And he, whether his story is true or not, whether he's telling the truth, whether he's telling because he has to tell the truth, whether he got on that news show by accident and they're like, oh my God, we have to shut this down because they're just figuring out, the elite that are running this world. Just
NASA was created after that show, I believe.
Yeah. And then he died and he had a weird death too. He was trying to go to like somewhere on a train. He ended up in another country, another city. And and then he ended up dying. I just learned about that the other day, but he had a weird death. He died young. Something very fishy there.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right.
What about the?
Good.
Well, I was gonna ask, what about the Space Force? What about the Space Force, man?
The Space
Force.
Force.
I got one. Yeah, I got one question for you. This is a real question. The last question. Are you a proud? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me ask you guys. Are you a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world?
I didn't create the modern world.
No.
Okay.
Now. Well,
right. Check this out. Space Farce, Starfleet Command. Do you see anything mocking here? Do you see them mocking us in any way, shape, or form? This is predictive programming and mockery combined in one.
Yeah. And right, all the different special, like NASA and all these different companies and stuff, they all have some crazy symbols, right? Like,
yeah, they all have a common this vector. This is in all of their symbols. This vector symbol.
Why is that?
Because it's it's a symbology of something. They're all in it together. There was no space race. It's all nonsense. It's all just to control our minds. And all of this was done in the last 100 years. In the 1920s, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Correct.
Yeah, you said that. You said you interviewed somebody who's like 100 years old.
102 years old in February 2020, and she knew that she was taught the Earth was flat in the Hamden Public School, elementary school.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My mind's blown, Dave Weiss. It's been like going down the rabbit hole for a week and a half. Well, more than that. When was the first time you turned me on to him?
Bobby.
We've been actually trying to get you on the podcast for quite some time.
Bobby, you seem like a tough guy, a good guy, a smart guy. Don't let this cognitive dissonance kick in and become a pussy and back out and go, I don't know what the Earth is. You know damn well it's not a spinning ball. And you don't even have to say it's flat. You know it's not a spinning ball. You know they're lying. Basically, it's flat and stationary.
The moon landing, all you got to do is look at the moon landings. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Just like why? You just got to ask why. Why would they do that?
Well, they did that to make us believe that we live on a ball. They have us in a prison. Like if they said, hey, you're not allowed to go south of the equator, well, but everyone's going to want to go south of the equator.
In the words of my
taking off,
they put us in a prison for our minds. A prison for our minds, and that's the ball.
In the words of my awesome Uncle Mark, my favorite uncle, you evolved from monkey. You were a monkey. I wasn't. You were a fucking monkey. I wasn't. That's
Correct.
what he said. Yeah.
Correct.
Because
why are monkeys still here?
Yeah.
Did they forget to evolve?
They forgot.
Do you even send your kids to school anymore?
My kids are older, but if I had younger kids, there was no way they'd go to that indoctrination camp. We'd be living on a tropical island, and we'd be growing our own food and have a little farm.
And I thank God. I homeschool my kids, so I'm thankful. And thank God for your information, because he does know.
Yeah, you're doing God's work, whatever God you subscribe to. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. What about Galileo? You know anything about Galileo? Huh? He did nothing wrong.
So nice shirt. All of these guys that are responsible for the heliocentric model are all Freemasons, but I don't even know if they're real. Some of them might not. They just might be stories. They're all Freemasons. Galileo, Copernicus, Pythagoras, they're all Freemasons.
And they all have that
Isaac
shape
Newton
there.
too also. Don't forget
Newton,
that the theory, the gravity is a theory. It's not proven. It's density.
Buoyancy, and density, and electromagnetism.
Correct.
Yeah, electromagnetism. And so, the first time I really realized that electromagnetism, that's just what a motor is. It's just simple. All it is just a magnet, and then you put the electricity current through it, and it just goes like that, and that's it. And it's so simple. And you're saying that's those are the only forces on Earth real. They're only real forces. Yeah.
Some people will see all of this information and someone will go, what about southern star rotation, right? It goes in the opposite direction. It only works on a ball. Well, the optics of the sky are no way to prove that the Earth is flat. But on the app under star rotation, there's a guy named P-Brain, awesome channel. And he showed us some demonstrations of how you would see the stars, what he called corpuscular and anti-corpuscular rays. and how they would appear to turn. But no matter where you are on the earth, think about this. All of the luminaries in the sky, the sun, moon, and stars, all rise in the east and set in the west. Okay? So
circular motion.
They're circling over us, rising in the east, setting in the west. No matter where you are, whether you're in the inner north or outer south, they're all rising in the east, setting in the west. But if I turn around, they're now going in the opposite direction. Well, they're still going east and west, but they're going counterclockwise or clockwise just because they turned around. If the stars are going this way from my right shoulder to my left, they're going counterclockwise. But if I turn around, those stars are now going clockwise.
Correct.
Right? I just turned around. The stars are still going the same direction. They're still going east to west.
Yeah. Do you believe in astrology at all?
Dude, astrology is I used to laugh at astrology. Astrology is the real science. Like, hey, Mars is in retrograde. It's 47 million miles away, but somehow that little rock is going to affect your life. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Well, Mars is a energetic source right here within the Earth system.
Star.
Yeah, wandering star. And it affects it's connected to us. This is Mars through a P900.
That doesn't look like what they're showing us. I mean,
that's Mars through a P900.
That's Mars through a P900.
That's what Mars really.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like a light?
What the fuck is that,
water?
Bobby?
Well, show them all the stars.
This is the star Arcturus. Look at this star.
It's behind water. Is that
like hundreds of trillions of miles away?
God.
Oh my God.
Right? And this is Capella. Look at this one, right? This is not a burning ball of hydrogen. It's right here within the Earth system.
All right. So there's a dome over, and like the way that you say that,
look at all the
sun's basically like your little kid, and you got the magnifying glass on the ants. Basically,
it's
use that
being
analogy.
projected through the dome. That's some flat earthers sent up a balloon in Arizona or somewhere at night, and had high def cameras looking up. You could see all the stars before it even took off. You'd think the higher it got, the more stars you would see. By the time it got to like 50, 60, 70,000 feet, no more stars. They're all gone. Explain that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You can't explain that.
All right. What about that? Everything's round, and our eyes are round, and
but round doesn't mean
everything's round. Everything has this spherical shape to it in nature.
Round and spherical.
Don't. No, not everything is round. There's lots of things that are round, but not everything.
Like when I look up at the moon looks like what they say that.
So
Earth
first,
is.
look at the lights in your ceiling right now. Look at the lights, and now tell me what shape the floor is by looking at those lights. Is there any correlation? There's no correlation. Bobby, I'm going to show you 4 moons. Quickly, tell me if the first one is a sphere. 2 of them are spheres. This one is a sphere?
It's number 4.
All right,
I already
so you've
know
seen
this trick.
You've seen it. So saying that
it's like the Monty game.
Yeah, saying that actually, and I lied too. Only one of them is a sphere. But you can't tell what shape something is. Now, I think the moon is a sphere. I don't know what it is. I think the moon that we see is just a projection of a sphere that's outside of the firmament. I don't know. It could just be like this one, a half a sphere, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it appears to be its own light. That's for sure.
What the heck is a firmament?
The firmament is just another name for the dome. And this is the last one that you wanted me to show.
There it is.
Tell me what you're seeing here, Bobby.
How is that possible that the sun is surrounded by clouds and the clouds are getting lit up
above it, behind it, below it,
local,
to the right, to the left?
It cannot
clouds.
be millions of miles away just to light up that little local. It's impossible. That's just.
This was shot by Robert Forrester. Okay, down in Florida. Okay.
How do you explain that? Millions of miles away. Notice the top at the bottom. No, around the clouds, local, around the clouds. It's lit up. It's right there.
Yeah. And people, we're so brainwashed we can't see these things. Okay, people just don't see it, and they make up excuses.
They don't want to give it up. The cognitive dissonance is
nobody likes having their ball taken away.
No,
what did you say happened when you first realized about this? What happened to you?
Oh, I totally.
Speaking of the microphone,
well,
you said
yes,
about your friend.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I totally my perspective. Everything that I was.
What happened with your friend? He took you out on a.
Oh boat. Yeah, he absolutely on his boat. We were looking down off of Miami Beach. There's the Coast Guard base, and he was taking me out for about half an hour out into sea. I'm gonna say, and he was going at pretty fast speed, easily over 20 miles. He had the P900, and he goes, "Why don't you take a look?" It took me a while to figure it. He's the one that located the base, and I was not. It was impossible to see the base from the very bottom. I'm talking about seeing boats like on a dock in front of the base, and then the base water top to bottom. It was impossible because the math is supposedly every mile there's 8 inches of curvature squared, correct? And it was impossible to see what I saw, and that changed my whole perspective. Kind of confirmed what I believed. The Bible, started looking back into the Bible, and made things a lot better for me, at least in my life and my spiritual life. But after I saw that, then I started investigating it. I realized everything that they taught us was a lie. It's just a lie. And I saw it for myself, and you can't take that away. And then anyone that tells me we're on a spinning globe, I go, it's impossible because your math is wrong. Could you give me your revised mathematical equation, please? But there isn't any. And that's the end of the story, Dave.
Hey, so in closing, anybody that has a podcast with some audience that doesn't believe the earth is flat, hit me up. Info at the Flat Earth Podcast. Let's have a discussion, and maybe we'll do a show. You can find me at theflatearthpodcast.com, the Flat Earth Podcast Facebook page, the Flat Earth Podcast Instagram, and my YouTube channel is Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. And of course, get the app by Blue Water Bay. On Android, you need 8.0 or higher. And the amount of permissions that you have to is less than a calculator. I have the minimum amount of permissions. It needs to know your location, but if you don't want your locations on, you can say no and set it manually. I made it for the most paranoid truther out there. It's not spying on you. Your phone is spying on you, but the app is not.
No.
And you need an iPhone 6 or better, or a decent iPad. It works great there. Just read the reviews if you're unsure. It's $2.99. You're buying me a half of a beer, and you're not peeing it away in 20 minutes. You have it for the rest of your life.
And then also in closing for me, please let me say that, I don't have an app of my own. Okay. In order to beat the algorithms, there's a 20-year-old nerd in the back of Google with cum crusted on his pants. And he's deciding who wins or loses in life because he learned how to code while living in his mommy's basement. So please, if you could just share, like whatever you can do, please actually share this on some social media. If you haven't been kicked off yet, please just be our people and get this out there, because this is some great content. They, try to
Bobby, this will be on the top of the playlist in the app. Once you send me the video link, it'll be in there under interviews, and you'll get more views than any of your videos have gotten so far.
Oh, great. Yeah, right. What, you got 100,000?
Oh, you got 100,000? All right. Maybe we'll go for 100,000. We'll see.
Let's go for 100,000.
Dave's a big man.
All right. Thank you so much, Flat Earth Dave. You're the best.
All right, man. Thanks,
you,
Bobby.
Dave.
See you guys.
Thank you,
God
brother.
bless you, Dave.
Bye. So I just hit stop video.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave.
And then when you're done, it's gonna convert it. It's gonna say converting, and then it'll give you a file, and you'll have everything there. You'll have separate audio tracks. You'll have a video track, everything.
All right. While I have you on here, though, I would like to ask you. I kept this all out of the whole thing. So
good.
What do you think about Proud Boys?
What are Proud Boys? You
don't know what the Proud Boys are? You never heard of them?
No.
That's a good position.
Gavin,
I guess.
Gavin, have you heard of Gavin McGinnis?
I know. I was on his show.
You're on Gavin's show?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he created the Proud Boys, and
what is it?
It's just a club. It's a group of guys who get together and they drink. It's a drinking club with a political problem, with a patriot problem.
Correct.
And so
and Western chauvinists.
Western chauvinists, as in, just having a love for country and having a love for Western civilization, basically.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of that, huh?
No, but I never heard of it, but that's fine. I never heard of it. Sorry.
All right,
okay.
Cool, man. Cool.
They're a bunch of stuck-up white people? Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. No. Oh my goodness.
I mean, not us. We're in the chapter down in South Florida.
When you say Western society, I mean, Western society is fucked. I mean, the Western medicine is fucked. Okay. I mean, it's totally fucked.
That is correct. But the foundation was good as far as freedom for women, freedom from I would say
I
the
like
kings
that.
and
I mean, that's good.
the kings
I'd have to
and
know
the
what's
queens. That's
behind when you say
that's what we mean.
Do you like being in social clubs at all? Have you ever joined a social club?
I mean, sure. I'd be social.
I know. I'm saying, have you ever joined a social club? I mean,
Like,
it
what
used
do
to
you
be
mean?
it used to be a big thing in our culture, in American culture,
My old
for
man,
men to
Martini
go
loves
join a social club. You hang out, you drink beers, you talk shit, you know, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
we
blah.
have a little social club that I used to go to a lot down on the river here in Miamis.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm
so yeah,
saying.
that's fun. That's fun. You know, now I just do this. I do this. I talk to people like you. This is my social club.
You're awesome, man. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, man. Thanks.
Let me stop.
Hey,
Stop. I'm gonna stop the vid now. Stop.
Yeah, send me the link when you're done, and I'll share it. You gonna make a good thumbnail for this?
Yes, I am. I already have it.
All right, awesome.
Stop.
And send me the link. There you go. See you.
All right, cool.
See you. Bye.
And so it just gets sent to me right now somewhere?
When you stop, it'll say converting, and then it'll pop up on your screen, and you'll have a file folder that'll have all the files in it. Just take the video file. It's all you need.
All right. Thank you.
All right. If you have any issues,
Bye.
let me know.
All right. Bye.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock app. A dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 12/12 or 24-hour clock face. Or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. And clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.